Welcome to Infinity Reviews. So yeah! Woohoo! Oh, that's a great line. That is a great line. Eve. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another movie review. And today we will be reviewing the new A24 film, Civil War. Now, we have heard a lot of buzz about Civil War. You know, how saying like it might be one of the best movies this year. And, you know, even better than a year where we've had Dune 2, you know, and the bar is like pretty high for best movie this year. So I decided to go check it out. And it is a great movie, guys. It is a great movie. And the thing about it was that's like kind of scary about the movie is that it is so close to what might actually happen, you know? And it's, you know, going into it when I saw the trailers, I thought it was like, oh, you know, you have the, you have like kind of like the others, like you have California and, what was it, Texas aligned to like kind of go up against all the other states, you know, and it was them versus the U.S. like basically like the rest of the U.S. and the president. And, you know, the thing they go about it is that the president, played by Nick Offerman in this movie, you know, he is kind of like, he's acted like a dictator, you know, they compare him to like Mussolini and, you know, Putin, and like saying like he is kind of acting like a dictator, not a president, so they decide to go up against him. So you kind of be like, oh, whose side am I on? Even if you want to choose sides, you know, am I on the side of, you know, the Western Front, which is California and Texas, who want to be free of this president, or are you on the side of the U.S. who are fine just to keep everything together? And you know, it just like I was glued into my seat, you know, just how like I was watching Dune 2. I did not want to get up and leave the theater. I was so intrigued in what was happening, and it's a story, you know. It's also a story about journalistic photographers as well, you know, like how much they go through as well. You know, we see the main character played by Kirsten Dunst is like this very well-known photographer. You know, she's gone around and shot wars, basically just like a war photographer. And, you know, it's kind of presented in the film like, you know, she, you know, doesn't really have any emotion, you know, like there's like a younger character that's played in the movie who's kind of new to the photography game, and Kirsten Dunst, you know, she's the younger, I think it's played by Cailee Spaeny, and she basically asks like, she says, hey, if I got shot, would you take a picture of it? And she's like, yes, I would. And you realize that in mind, like how messed up that is. It's like, instead of like grieving like a colleague or a friend, you take a picture and no emotion about whatsoever. And it kind of goes over that in the film where you see Kirsten Dunst's character like through war taking pictures of people around in wars being burned alive, you know, seeing U.S. soldiers shot and dying. And you know it gets really, really, really dark. And you know, the thing about it, like what makes this movie I think really realistic and scary, is that there's so much division today in the world. You know, everyone thinks they're right and everyone else is wrong. And you know, if like this could happen, and which is scary to kind of see, you know, kind of, you know, the United States turning into places like Afghanistan and Pakistan, where it's just like rubble in cities, war, people holding guns everywhere. Like it's scary, you know. It's scary that this might actually happen. And not only like he's like the acting top notch in this film, you know, the director of the film, I believe it's Alex Garland. He does a terrific job, you know, with, you know, the dialogue. You know, I don't know if he wrote the movie, but it's just a really well written movie. And, you know, he does really good, like, at capturing, like, the performances of each actor. Like, any director should, but he does a really good job here. And, also, the cinematography at times is really beautiful, you know. some of the shots, they get in the movie are really, really amazing. And, the movie is not really about the Civil War going on. Sure, that's in the plot, but the real plot is following these photographers and this one reporter on a journey to try to get to the White House to interview Nick Offerman, who's the president, before the Western Front forces of Texas and California kill him, because he is compared to a dictator like Mussolini. And, not only this, but it has one of the most gripping scenes I've seen in a film to this day. And you, of course, have seen it in the trailer. It's the scene with Jesse Plemons, where, he's asking a question. Where, like, one of the characters says, "We're American." He says, "Oh, you're American? What kind of American?" And that scene goes on for about, I think, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And it's the most gripping scene I've seen in a movie forever. Because, basically what happens in the scene, this goes a little spoilers, and it's in the movie. Cailee, Spaany's character, and another, like, kind of character, we don't really know who he is. He's just kind of, like, just came there, are captured by these two guys, who look like your typical, extremists, that you typically see, like, on the news or whatever. And, there's two characters who are Asian, so these are just straight, like, people who, like, think white blood, if you're white, you're amazing, everyone else, you should go die. So he asks Cailee Spaany's character, "Where are you from?" Like, he's going around asking everyone where they're from. And, he asks one of the Asian characters, and he says Hong Kong, and he has no hesitation. Spoiler, shoots him down. And they try to negotiate with these guys, like, hey, we're just photographers, we're with press, we're just trying to move on. And, like, they go on a killing spree, which kind of, like, represents, how some people think. But also just one of the most gripping scenes I've seen in a film to this day. I was like, oh my gosh. I was terrified for the characters. And that's what like, a scene in a movie like this should do. Like, you gotta have that one scene where it's like, you're so scared, you don't want the characters to die, and it happens. And trust me, there are a lot of deaths in the film. There's a lot of deaths, And, it's a very, very, in my sense, like, this is very much a horror movie, in a way, because, like I've been saying throughout this video, that it's so possible that this can happen. So much possible that this could happen in reality, because, we are so divided. We've already had our capital raided by people who didn't agree with what our government was doing. And, it's like, okay, you see this, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, this could truly happen. And it's scary that we could have, like, full-on wars in the streets of Washington, D.C. It was scary. Also a bit terrified, because last summer I went to Washington, D.C., and some of the places they were going, I was there, and, it was like, I can't even imagine having a war there. And, we get into, I'm going to a little spoiler territory. This can be, like, some spoilers, like, in the end of the video. So if you don't want no spoilers for the movie, I did my basic review in the front. Now we're going to spoiler territory a little bit. So basically, the story goes that they end up in Washington, D.C. and Kirsten Dunst, the reporter guy who's played by Wagner, Moura, you probably haven't seen anything, and Cailee, Spaeny, all end up in Washington, D.C. to try to get a picture of the president. So they're going with the Western forces, because the Western forces are basically about to win this civil war. The civil war's about to be over, they're about to win. And the main question also presented in this film is, like, once you kill the president, what happens afterwards? You have a country with no ruler. It's basically, you have no one. Like, what is the system? And that's, like, also one of the big worries. But, the Western forces, of course, do not care. They just, like, we need to get rid of this president, who's played by Nick Offerman, as I've said. So they start heading up to the White House, and, these photographers are with them. And, you can sense, like, how scary this is just to be a photographer. They're literally running into gunfire with these soldiers. They're being shot at. You don't know when they're going to die. And they have to try to get the shots. They're like, okay, sneak past the bullets, take a photo, because, this needs to be documented in the history of the United States, because if they're not there, no one's going to document, no one's going to say it's happened. So they're following, like, this group of Western Forces soldiers who are I feel like a bit annoyed because, you know, these chargers keep like getting shots. They're like, we gotta pull away, watch out for gunfire, and you know, and of course, you know, they're about to reach the White House. They breach it, and then there's a decoy car. The president, they feed the president, so everyone goes after that car. And but Kirsten Dunst is like, because she wants to get this picture. She's like, he's not in there, so they head towards the White House, and then you have like this 20 to 25 minute action sequence of the photographers and the soldiers just going through the White House, you know, trying to get to the president, and it's really, really more a really cool action scene. You know, you really see like they have to go through like each stores because there's Secret Service everywhere, and you know you also have the photographers taking as many pictures. And the one thing the film does that I really also like is that, you know, when the action's going on, when they take the picture, it just does the picture for like 3 to 5 seconds, shows the picture in black and white, and then goes back into the action scene. So like it doesn't take you out of the action, but it kind of shows like the brutality of what's going on in the scene. You know, like how much brutality there is in this like kind of world the world of Civil War. And so they're trying to get to the president, you know, and of course they find the Speaker of the House, and she's like, we surrendered, we just don't want you to kill the president. And then they're like, fuck that. They kill the Speaker of the House because this guy's gonna die. This guy's basically the worst, basically a dictator on the level of Mussolini and Putin. So they go and find him, and you know they get through everything, and then spoiler alert, the young photographer that we see like in the trailer, played like Cailee Spaeny, she kind of gets in the way. She kind of is about to get. She sees a shot, and she's about to go in, but she doesn't see the bullets. It's about to hit her, so Kirsten Dunst pushes her out of the way and takes it. And you know, it kind of goes back to the beginning of the movie, like I said in the beginning of the review, where Kirsten Dunst would say, "If you were dying, I would take that shot because it's part of history." So Kirsten Dunst, she blocks it, gets shot, and then the young photographer with them, Cailee Spaeny, takes the picture of Kirsten Dunst falling to the ground. And it's kind of like a little bit of passing the torch, you know, where it's like, you know, she's kind of done, you know, she's done with this world, you know, she's done with all the violence. And, you know, she says, if I'm going to do, because like all the other times she's taking pictures, she has shown no emotion. She's like, is this going to be the last moment of my life? I'm going to save someone. So she saves her, and kind of like it's now the young photographer's job now to go get that picture of the president. So they break into the office, and you know they've lost, these reporters and photographers have lost so many friends on this journey. And you know you have this other character, Joel, played by Wagner and Moura, like I mentioned, who's lost his best friend, lost his mentor, and he's just done. So he goes, so they get to the president, the soldier's about to shoot him, and they're like, wait. We need to get a quote and a photo. So he goes up to the president, and he's like, Mr. President, can we have a quote? And Nick Offerman's like, please don't let them kill me. And then he's like, thank you, and leaves. And then she's about to take the photo. She takes the photo, and they shoot him. And then that's the movie. I'm like, and the thing is, they don't show it in black and white. They show it through a photo of him getting shot. Well, it was like, oh my gosh, that's so brilliant. Like, this, I think, you know, a lot of people are going to say a lot of things about the film. I think they're going to say, oh, you know, I wish it was more about the Civil War, you know. I want to see more Civil War going on, you know, so more war. I'm like, that's not what the film's about. You know, sure, the movie is titled Civil War, but I think what Alex Garland was trying to show us, this film was like, hey, we are not this far off. You know, one day we could have a president like Nick Offerman who is a dictator, like Mussolini, like Putin. Like, we could have that one day. And we are very close to having this actually happen because of the way people view things and the way others view people. And, you know, I think it's important. I think this movie is not just like, you know, good because it's good. I think it's an important movie that we kind of need to see. You know, we kind of need to see, like, hey, we're going this way. You want to go fight for your liberty? You don't want to change things? Well, this is what's going to happen. America is going to turn into what we've done to Afghanistan and Pakistan. You know, make it a war-torn country. And it's a place now where we are just killing each other. And, you know, it's possible. Like, it's so possible. And, I think, I don't know if there's any performances that would be nominated for an Oscar. I think Jesse Plemons, of course, Jesse Plemons, he showed us a terrifying performance about what when he was like kind of the extremist soldier, and that scene makes the movie. Like I was saying, the scene with Jesse Plemons, that is the scene of the entire movie that makes it amazing. It is such gripping. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's gonna happen. How are they gonna get out of this? And because these are people who just kill everyone who don't really care, and it is very good. So my rating for this, I give this a 9 out of 10. I'm not giving it a perfect 10 out of 10 because I think there were some pacing issues. There were some things that could have been taken out of the movie that weren't like you really need to have it to be like this long. But it's a good time. It's only an hour 49-minute movie, so it's not like a 2-hour movie, which is kind of nice because we get a lot of those today. But yes, I give it a 9 out of 10, and I highly recommend you go see this movie. Do I think it's going to be nominated for Best Picture? I don't know. Because people say it's great, but, people say movies are great all the time. Dune, I do not think it's better than Dune. I think Dune Part 2 is better than this movie, but this is probably the second best movie I've seen this year. Because, we've had a lot of not-so-great movies this year, including Madam Web, Argyle. Those are just some of the movies that haven't really been good. We've had Godzilla vs. Kong, but we haven't really had, a lot of those, like a movie like this, based in reality movie. We've had a lot of sci-fi with Dune, but I think, this movie, I don't think it's going to make a lot. It's not going to make a lot, because my theater wasn't totally full. I saw it at 4:30 on a Friday, but I highly recommend you go see it, like I said. But guys, what do you think? Are you going to go check out Civil War? And if you have seen it, did you enjoy it? Please make sure you like and comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace!